morning. All right. Well, we're going to get ready to move into our lesson for this morning, get our spiritual nourishment for the week. And we're going to be talking about how everything is holy now. Now, you may have some issues with that statement. Everything? Everything?
Everything.
Everything is holy now. But before we do that, let's take a moment to just get settled into our space. We want to gather all of those scattered energies that we've left out there somewhere else with our thinking and our thoughts, and just bring all of our attention and focus to being right here, present. Take a couple of breaths. Settle into your seat. Just feel yourself relaxing, opening up. And we are going to focus on the idea for just a moment of joy. Don't you already feel it this morning? Yeah. Each new day is a treasure filled with life's gems found in even the most ordinary moments. Joy fills my heart when I pause to notice the wonder that surrounds me. I let my gaze linger as I watch the setting sun, or close my eyes as I savor the sweetness of fresh fruit. Beneath the night sky, I breathe deeply and partake of the fresh, clean air. The beauty of the world pales in comparison to the beauty within me. Let's say that again. The beauty of the world pales in comparison to the beauty within me. I'm so deeply and wondrously blessed to know my oneness with God and with all that is. There is no greater joy. I wake and praise each new day and feel newly alive. I go out into the world to share the joy of being a child of God in the abundant universe. I spread light and love to everyone I meet, trusting that they will know the joy of God as I do. And Psalms 92:4 says, "For you, O Lord, have made me glad by your work. At the works of your hands, I sing for joy." So let's take a breath of that again and affirm together, I feel joyous
as I celebrate life.
Woohoo!
All right. You know, we live in a world where at times we can feel disconnected. We don't feel like we're a part of the whole. And it's not that we're not always part of the whole. How many understand that you are always part of the oneness, right? You're part of the whole thing. Wholeness is our state of being. Wholeness and well-being. But what happens to us is that we lose our sensitivity and our connection to that oneness soup, right? We get in our minds. How many understand that your minds can take you out of the heart space if you're not careful? It can. It can also bring you back in if you use it. How many understand your mind is a tool? It's a tool. That's what it is. You use it for your higher good. You use it. Okay, so it's a good thing. And in 1 Corinthians 15:52, it says, "In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed." How long does it take? Just a moment. A moment. I looked up the word moment there in the Greek. It's the Greek word atomos. It's where we get the word atoms from. Say with me, ooh, atoms. How many know that you're made of atoms? And those little atoms are dancing around right now. If you could see your true essence, you would see this beautiful spiraling dance of molecules and atoms and quarks and protons and neutrons, electrons, and, you know, this invisible stuff that you cannot see with your physical eyes. But we know it's there, right? It's just like Jesus said, like it's like the wind. You can't see it, but you see its effects, right? You see its effects because you're here. Isn't that beautiful? So in the very deepest place of you, in your atoms, you are changed with the twinkling. What is a twinkle in the eye? You ever see somebody, excuse me, that gets a revelation and the light bulb comes on? Their eyes light up and that's the twinkling of an eye. When you get a revelation, you are changed in the very atoms and molecules of your being. Say it with me, woo, hoo, hoo, yeah. We're talking quantum mechanics, right? We're talking science. This is science, right? Because we're constantly changing and rearranging our atoms by how we're thinking. Say it together. What you think about,
what you think about,
you bring about. Who they bring about. No, I bring about. I mean, know that we've got to give up the blame game. Amen, somebody. Amen. Thank you. And so, a lot of times, the way I stay centered and focused, there's a little swing over here in the backyard. We live next door in the rock home. Thank you for that. We enjoy it. You said, I didn't, well, yeah, you did. I mean, because of you, we get to live there. So lately, I've been sitting outside on the swing and, connecting with nature because it's very healing for me. Now, in my office, there's a picture window. And I sit in front of the picture window, and I have my computer, but I'm always looking around because there's little creatures that come and visit me on a regular basis. Lately, I've seen a hummingbird. I've seen bluebirds. I've seen, I was going to talk about it. Shh. Don't give it away. Just kidding. I've seen the redbirds. Have you seen the redbirds this year? They are so bright red. If you haven't seen them, say it with me. It's time to pay attention. Right? Pay attention because they're there. They're out there flying around. They're adding what? Color to our world. They're trying to bring us out of our black and white, misery into full color. And so I'm watching these birds, and they just streak across. And sometimes they'll come and they'll just dance in front of the window. Now, when I look at nature, I'm looking at the divine. I'm looking at a reflection. I'm looking at divinity as a bird, right? Divinity as a bee, as a squirrel. And so it's wonderful. Some of these little birds, they fly up there and they have the little mohawks. You know what I'm talking about? And they're just, zipping around. And we just have a great time. They're dancing. I'm saying, yeah, all right. It's stunning, isn't it? It's stunning. It's stunning. This is reality, ladies and gentlemen. How many know what you watch on your screens is not always reality? And I'll ask you a question. Is it ever reality? Right? So one day I was out there, and I don't want to bring you down, but I got to tell you this story. Lisa, you going to tell that story? I say, yeah, I'm going to tell the story. Is that all right? Okay. How many has ever noticed hawks flying around here in Greenville, South Carolina? Or we're in Taylor's, And these beautiful hawks, they come and visit us too, and they're just beautiful creatures, aren't they? Their wingspan is just incredible, And so I was out there on the swing, and there was these two little squirrels, And they were down there. Yeah, somebody said, uh-oh. All right. All right. And they were dancing around the bottom of the tree. It's like they were peeking around, playing peekaboo, and I was, hey, how you doing there, squirrel, And so watching these little squirrels, and just noticing that. You ever really watch a squirrel and the energy, the movement is amazing. Their atoms, our molecules are just zipping all over the place, So, all of a sudden, over the house, this hawk comes faster than I have ever imagined a hawk could fly. Came over top of the house and dived right and grabbed one of the squirrels. And there was a sickening thud, okay? And then the hawk with the squirrel in its mouth rolled down the hill toward the pond. And I'm just sitting there like, and then all of a sudden, the hawk finally gets up and flies up into the tree. And I was like, okay, God, what are you trying to tell me? What's this? How many know that hawks are predators? You ever tried to make friends with a hawk? Well, people who try to train them, they say you can't get that close to them because they have a certain nature, a certain characteristic. They are natural-born predators. You're not going to turn them into vegans. Right? So I know God didn't make them that way. Right? Are you with me? And so I was having trouble processing it in the moment because it was such a traumatic experience in that moment. I said, what is this about? And I felt sorry for the squirrel, and this little pal was just like, where'd he go? Where'd he go,
Angry at the hawk.
I don't know what a squirrel thinks.
Are you
a squirrel? Oh, well, I was a little like, Mr. Hawk, you just came down a notch in me, in my estimation, right? But there is this saying in Unity that we believe that everything is holy. Everything is holy. Everything. Everybody's holy. But you say, James, I know some people and they're not very holy. Well, how they choose to act and react is up to them, right? How many know it's all choice? But there are some, like the hawk, who just have certain qualities and characteristics. Have you ever heard of the god Shiva? Shiva in the Hindu religions? One day there was a Hindu talking to a Christian. The Christian says, we believe in one God. And he said, oh, you guys, come on. We've got way more gods than you do. We have 3,000. But what it is all of these different gods represent different instincts and natures and archetypes of the one God. There's oneness, but many expressions, right? I know you're an expression. Tell the person next to you, say, hello there, divine expression. So Shiva. Now the thing about Shiva is Shiva's got some extra arms. And Shiva can do a lot of damage, right? Do you know people like this? It's like they have a lot of extra arms, And Shiva carries a destructive energy. A destructive energy. So, what is the purpose of these beings that carry this destructive energy? Well, number one, they reveal our weaknesses so that we can become stronger. Say it with me. If it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger, right? Now, in the Hebrew Bible, in Isaiah 54:16, if you want to look it up, it says, I've created the destroyer. Okay? There's a reason. And if you want to know what that reason is, all you have to do is watch HGTV. You ever watch HGTV? You ever start, during the pandemic, we would turn on one and we'd watch it, and go, let's watch another one. And before you know it, we've fixed and repaired a whole neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Vicariously.
Yes, vicariously. So before something good can be built, the wrecking crew has to come in first. Say it with me. Aha! Now, if you've ever watched the Property Brothers, you say, what do the Property Brothers have to do with destruction? Well, a lot. Right? Because what is it their job to do? To clear away the old stuff, those 70s cabinets, okay, that are no longer, you know what I mean? And a lot of times they'll fix them, whatever, I'm not putting down anything from, because a lot of the old stuff is pretty good stuff, right? But a lot of times they'll go through and they'll just take out all the stuff so that they can do what? Make it new again. Make it new again. This is called what? Transformation. It's all about transformation. We see it as a negative. Because sometimes there's some people come into your life, they're like a tornado, right? And you feel like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I'm no longer in Kansas, right? Where am I? And this is the idea here, is to bring about transformation. And this is what's happening on a global scale right now. This is a now message. Are you getting it yet? Everything that's not working is going to be adjustment. This is the adjustment period. Somebody told me one time that AA stands for attitude adjustment. All right? All right? And that's what it is. And that's what's happening right now. We're all having to adjust our what? Our expectations. So James, I don't have any expectations. Not me. Leah doesn't have any expectations, do you?
I have preferences.
Yes, yes. I prefer. No. Preferences are better than expectations, right? Because expectations, it's like, you better do this or I'm going to be mad. I'm going to make you pay if you don't do this.
Expectations are a setup for an upset.
There you go.
There you go. So,
yes.
How do we deal with these people and these situations that show up like this, that are the destroyers, the destructive ones, the hawks, if you will? Well, if you remember, if you were here last week or you watched online last week, you'll recall that we talked about what?
That was 6 days ago. 7 days ago.
Intercession. We talked about intercession. Are you an intercessor or are you a... That has been so 6 days ago, hasn't it? Nonetheless.
An interceder versus an interferer.
That's right. Are you interfering or are you interceding?
Session.
So we're going to expound some more on that idea that it's through affirmative prayer or intercession that we can deal with these types of people or energies in our lives. So the scripture talks about Jesus opening the eyes of the blind, opening the ears of the deaf. Well, we are to open the metaphorical blind eyes, deaf ears, and we're to unlock the mental prison doors that hold these people in limitation. How do we do that? Well, I'll just go up and I'll just tell them to start acting correctly.
Yeah, straighten
They
up.
ought to know better, so if I just tell them, if I just, no, that's ain't going to work, is it? No, we have to deal with these things.
How many have tried that?
Did you get slapped?
Did it work for you?
Right? So we have to work with these things on an inner spiritual level. That's the only way that these energies and these blocks can be removed and can be dealt with, is on that energetic level. You can clean the outside of the cup, clean the outside of the cup, clean the outside of the cup, and still you have a dirty cup. You got to clean the inside of the cup. It's the inside that matters. So the blocks are these attitudes, these feelings, these hurts and wounds. Did you know that we're walking this planet with a lot of walking wounded? A lot of walking wounded. They've been rejected. People have deep-seated fears. They have anxiety. They have self-loathing. They have dislike. They have hatred. All of these energies that people are carrying with them. And they can be positively affected by us using affirmative prayer as an intercession for them. That's doing the inner work. Ernest Holmes said, through the art of affirmative prayer, the limitless resources of the Spirit are at my command. Would you like me to say that again? Through the art of affirmative prayer, the limitless resources of Spirit are at my command. The power of the infinite is at my disposal. That's pretty powerful.
It's an art form.
It does say the art of affirmative prayer. And you do understand that unity is built on the very foundation of affirmative prayer. We talk about that a lot here. So we understand that prayer is not that pleading, begging, manipulative process where we try to get God to change this circumstance or change this person, right? It's about how do we be with this person? How do we be in this situation? Because the situation, the person is there for you, just like the hawk, right? To help you do something, build something in your interior world new. Revitalize, strengthen, refresh, give you something new. Which means that the old has to be torn down, right? So affirmative...
Do we have to?
Yeah, you don't have to.
I kind of like that shag carpet, though. You know, it's kind of
have
nice
to.
on the feet.
We understand that this is all a voluntary thing that we do, right? It's all within our choice to do the work or to not do the work. But I'll guarantee you that if you don't deal with those circumstances, those situations, those people, if you try to give them the brush off or you walk away and go the other direction, what will you encounter? Who will you encounter? The same daggone thing again. I've dealt with you before. You just had a different name and you just look different. But it's the same energy, right? So when these things come up, when these people arrive, when these circumstances happen, it really behooves us to just go ahead and deal with it. Deal with this one, because the chances are lessened that, well, there will be another one, no doubt, but maybe it'll be less destructive, less of that destructive behavior.
Well, it depends on, have you got all the old stuff out of the way?
Yeah.
So you can make something new, right?
Right.
Or are there still things that are there? Have you ever said this to yourself? You said, God, why am I going through this again?
Again.
You ever said that? Why am I going through this again?
No, we usually say like, why am I going through this again?
Yeah.
I thought I had this all figured out. I thought I was more spiritually advanced than this.
Oh, yes.
I didn't think I had to go through this again.
I'm a unity person, and I'm very spiritual. Let me tell you what I believe. I've got it all figured out now. Or whatever. You know what I mean?
Whatever.
How many know you meet people like that in all walks of life?
And we meet that in ourselves sometimes.
We do.
And we have to self-correct when we see that in ourselves.
Especially in the mirror.
Yeah.
So there's 3 steps to intercessory prayer I want to share with you. Okay? Would you like to know what they are? Say you're in a relationship, an unhealthy relationship. Boyfriend, girlfriend, neighbor, uncle, so-and-so, aunt, this or that, this and that, all kinds of people out there, right? You take your pick. So you find somebody, and you kind of look around and say, well, everything is perfect. I don't have anything to work on. All right. We want to say thank you, Jesus, for being here in the service today. Right? Let's say it together. Thank you, Jesus. All right. So number 1, visualize and detach from unhealthy emotional connections to these people or situations. You have to detach from them. If they're a burden, it's because you're carrying it. Shake your head yet? Oh, I see what you're saying, yeah. Are you getting a little twinkle in your eye yet? So I am connected to this person or this situation in an unhealthy, emotional kind of way, right? And I'm either trying to control, I may be judging. Of course, I know that you guys don't judge. Tell the person next to you, he's not talking about me. I don't judge. So, you know what detachment is? In the Bible, Jesus talked about detachment. And the way he expressed it was like this. He was talking about forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness, this is another word for detachment. And it's like you have this tree, right? This wonderful tree. And this tree has a branch coming out of it. And the branch, for whatever reason, dies or is hit by lightning or whatever. And what happens after a while to that branch? It will break off and fall to the ground. That is detachment. You get it? In other words, it is no longer a part of the tree. That's true forgiveness. Because if you're still walking around connected in an unhealthy way to them, still carrying the burden of whatever it is, then you're still in this unhealthy relationship. Make sense? So what do you have to do? You have to cut the cords. Say it with me, cut the cord. Right? I was there for 3 different baby boys who were born. It was wonderful, okay? It's a miracle. It's a miracle. It really is. And I remember when they cut the cords. Why did they have to cut the cord? Because the baby was being fed inwardly by the mother. and cannot grow up. Can you imagine a 21-year-old walking around with an umbilical cord? I don't think so. So the cord had to be cut. Had to cut the cord. Say it with me. Cut the cord. That wasn't the greatest. Never mind. Anyway, let's.
No, well, actually, what I was thinking was that there probably are a lot of individuals that are walking around with that very scenario. They are walking with still connected to mother issues. Can we say mother issues? I was thinking about actually what I was.
Yeah, say it a different way. Say it a different way.
No. It was really good because I was thinking about why does that branch. The branch dies and falls off because it's not getting nourished, it's not getting fed.
Yeah.
We are the tree. We have these relationships. We have these particular circumstances. We have to quit feeding them so that they will not receive the nourishment, so that they can fall off, so that we can be detached. We have to quit feeding them. So how many of us turn on the TV in the evening to one of the CNN, MSNBC, Fox News stations, and we start railing against that candidate?
They are wrong.
What are we doing? We're giving it energy. We're feeding it. By the very fact that we're giving the candidate that we don't like all of our venomous attention, we're actually strengthening them.
Say with me, oh my. It's not the one that gets the most votes, it's the one that gets the most energy.
Quit giving your energy to the opposing candidate. Did you hear me? Actually, quit giving your energy to any of it, period.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't be aware of what's going on. I'm not saying don't make informed choices. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying quit giving your energy to keeping that branch alive on the national tree. Quit.
Okay. Well, we went from cutting cords, umbilical cords, to cutting political cords. We better be careful here this morning.
Okay. All right. So we visualize and we detach.
Yeah, let me talk about that for just a moment, because the reason why visualization is so powerful is because it is an inward process, okay? And when you can visualize it and you can see it within yourself, then it becomes real to you, okay? I have worked with a lot of people over the years to help them cut cords. And I remember one of the first times I did this, it just came to me spontaneously, where this lady came to me and said, my husband is out cheating and he's doing all this stuff, but I can't seem to get rid of him. I just keep pulling him back, and he keeps going out and doing the same thing over and over and over. And I said, all right, let's talk about this. So I had her do a visualization. In the visualization, are you following me? In the visualization, I said, all right, I want you to imagine yourself on the precipice of a tall mountain, a cliff. And at the other end is your person, whoever that is, and they're standing with their back to the edge. And down below the edge is the river of their destiny. And so here you are, right, with this umbilical cord, because you don't know what to do with them, right? So you need to cut the cords, because obviously you're still connected to the person in a negative way, in a harmful way. And so you take your sword of truth. How many got your sword with you today? You bring it? My Excalibur here. Yeah. Pulled it out of a rock. I didn't know if you knew that. Anyway. And so here you are with your sword of truth. And you've got this umbilical cord, this connection to this hopefully soon to be husband. You know what a husband, right? How many know that's okay sometimes, right? Or a past wife experience. How many's ever had that? Okay. Anyway, you take your sword and you cut the umbilical, the cords. You cut the cords. Now, when she was bringing the sword down through, she said, it doesn't want to cut. I said, okay. I said, turn it into a saw. Turn it into one of those chainsaws. I mean, oh, those are good. They'll cut through just, they'll cut through. And so she went, and cut through the cords, cut the cords. And you know what happened? He fell backwards. And I said, watch him as he goes down, all the way down to the water. And then watch him as he goes down the river of his destiny. It's a good thing. This is the highest and best, right? This is the higher good. So he's going down the stream. And I said, just watch as he floats away. I said, how do you feel now? She said, oh, I feel good now. And you know what she did? She went home. Because this guy was something else. He was something else. And she told him, all right, pack your stuff and get out. That's what she told him. Now, I didn't tell her to do that. All we did was this little visualization. But then she had the empowerment within herself to make the change. You see how powerful visualization is? It's an inner process. It makes your prayers, it's like putting your prayers on steroids, Not that we need to be doing that. But anyway, that changed her life. So he left. And then he'd call her up every once in a while. He said, can I come home? I said, no. No. Not until you change. Are you going to counseling? Are you working on yourself? Well, no. Okay. You can't come home. And finally, I think it was a couple years later, they both went to counseling, and they worked it out, and they're still together now. I saw their pictures the other day on Facebook, and they look pretty happy. They've got grandkids. You know what I mean? How many know you can work through things if you want to, but some people don't want to. So what do? What? How many know you got to pick up your suitcase and go on with your life, right? Is this talking to anybody? Is this helping anybody? So let's cut those cords. And then after you cut the cords, then you can embrace them with the frequency of love and compassion. Because as long as you're on the outs with them and you're feeling bad about them and you're feeling bad about your relationship with them, you can't help anybody, right? And so, what is God? God is a frequency. Do you feel the frequency this morning? It's here. If you're paying attention, it's always here. God is the witness. Jesus said, where two or more gather together, I am there. I'm in the midst. The I, the frequency of divinity is here right now. It's moving through you. Right? And this is how we assist in healing the underlying unconscious energies that people are bound by, they're stuck in, through enlightened prayers for the heart and the mind. Remember what we read last week, Ephesians 1:18? I pray your heart be flooded with light so that you may understand your true calling and the richness that it brings. Wow. That's a prayer worth praying. Yeah. That's a prayer that works. Right? So what are we doing? We're calling people to wholeness. Yeah. We're calling people to wholeness. So visualize their spiritual qualities. See them, in peace. Because when you don't like somebody, you don't see them at peace. How do you see them? Right? Think about it. And as you pray, you remind them of who they are. Say, James, but what if they're not in the room with you? They don't have to be, because we're all connected together. And so you call forth their wholeness. You call forth divine order. You call forth their true nature to come forth. Wow.
So see, Jesus presented a very clear image of a responding, supportive universe. And we live in an interconnected universe. Everything is connected. And physicists have shown that the observer and the observed interact. And when they do, energy and matter interchange, right? The observer affects the observed. So, if everything is connected, then everything is of spirit, then everything changes. Nothing really ever dies. We are all connected. I'm spirit, you're spirit. So then, everything is holy.
Holy.
Now. Can you see that? Can you take that in? Even when something looks unholy, when something looks chaotic, everything is interconnected and everything is holy now.
Yeah.
Right?
We primarily operate in the spiritual world rather than the physical. See, that's where everything comes from. The source. Jesus called it the Father within, the source within. That's where it all comes from. There would be none of this without the invisible, the true reality, right?
So the squirrel is holy. The hawk is holy. Everything is holy. Those things that I will think of and immediately want to go to, well, that's not holy, that's unholy, is holy. Yeah. In the circle, it's holy. Mm. If you can grasp that, eliminate the good, the bad, it's holy. And hold that place for every circumstance, every individual. See them. Breathe that energy of holiness into them. And when you're praying for them and you're holding them and you're visualizing them, you're talking and affirming their good, just as if they're seated right there with you.
Right.
You're affirming their good. And in doing that, what are you doing? You're affecting them because we are connected. Everything is interconnected. This is so important to understand. And if you can put it at the forefront of all of your interactions, if you find your thinking and your mind going off down some dark desert highway, right?
You should write a song.
Yeah. On a dark desert highway, I think there should be
cool breeze in my hair.
When you're doing that, bring your awareness and your attention back to, oh yeah, I'm a spiritual being. These things have to be affected in the spiritual realm. Leave it out of this, right? Do the work in the spiritual realm, in the inner realm.
There was a time when I thought only certain things and specific people were holy. But as you become more awake and alert and start noticing things, and that's what it means really to be enlightened, is you're just noticing. You're noticing what's really going on. You begin to have an understanding that everything is holy when? Now. You are as holy as you're ever going to be. That's the truth. You are a holy, sacred being. That's your natural state. It's your true state. So just take this opportunity to breathe. Breathe. And just for a moment, listen to the sounds that Jeff is playing. Allow these sounds to just move through you. There's healing in sounds. There's healing in nature. If you pay attention. Pay attention. And so, as Jeff has played the various instrumentation, you feel certain energies start to change and transform. And you get a new feeling. A new door opens inside you where you can connect and begin to feel better. A little better. A little better. got to let go of those old resentments, those old fears. I know things have happened in your life. Hasn't always been pleasant, has it? Maybe you've lost a loved one. And it's been hard. Maybe you've been dealing with it for just over a period of time. And sometimes you wonder, how am I going to get through this? Maybe you've experienced some depression, some sadness in your life, some dark days. This morning, I invite you to come to the light. And have a little conversation with the higher power. To say, okay, this is what's really going on with me. I'm ready now for transformation and change. I'm ready to let it go. I need help. It's okay to ask for help. Because when you put it out there, the universe, we're so connected that the universe will move heaven and earth to bring to you a person, an answer, maybe a book. Something will show up in the right place at the right time just for you. There's a divine orchestration that's happening on your behalf in every moment of every day. That's how loved you are. There's this care, this concern for you. To experience the fullness, the wholeness, the well-being in your life that you want, that you desire. There may be some letting go. Are you willing to let go? Are you willing to open your hands and let go of certain ideas, certain feelings, certain prejudices, whatever it is? I don't know what you need, but you know what you need. At some level of your being, you know what you need to do. So I want to encourage you to take that step and do what you need to do to experience your holiness, your well-being. Because the divine has your back. I've seen it many, many times, over and over again. When I come to the end of me, I'm at the beginning of divinity. It's a beautiful thing. If you know of someone that you would like to pray for in this moment, I invite you to whisper their name aloud. And just get a picture of them in your heart. And just maybe tell them, say, I love you. And I only want what's best for you. I only want to do you good. I only want to be your friend. I only want to help. And that's the energy, that's the state that you come from when you pray. The higher good, the all good. That frequency of love and compassion. So breathing now, breathing. Consciously, effortlessly, allowing Spirit to do the work. Because the Spirit works on the insides where we can't see. Let's not forget that. It's an inside job. And so today we offer prayers for wholeness and well-being for all people everywhere, for every nation. We choose to see all people free and experiencing this higher good, this joy, this divine joy. And so now we just release it all. We release it all. In the name of the Christ, in the name of the sacred, in the name of the good, and in the name of the holiness of all. Amen. So it is. Invite you to gently come out of your meditation now. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your help this morning. Am I a little too loud here? Okay. I've been working on this song for about a month now. It's not an original. This song was written by Peter Mayer. Who's ever heard of him? He's a wonderful folk singer. And he wrote this song. And this is one of those kinds of songs that you have a certain perception, a way of looking at things before you hear it, and then you have a different perception after you hear it. All right? I didn't think that sounded right. It's called Drop D, if you want to know it. There we go. Now we got that bottom there. We got that bottom end. When I was a boy each week, Sunday we would go to church, pay attention to the priest. He would read the holy word and consecrate the holy bread, and everyone would kneel and bow. Today the only difference is everything's holy now. Everything's holy now. When I was in Sunday school, we would learn about the time Moses split the sea in two, and Jesus made the water wine. And I remember feeling sad that miracles don't happen still. But now I can't keep track, 'cause everything's a miracle. Everything's a miracle. Wine from water is not so small, but an even better magic trick is that anything is here at all. And so the challenging thing becomes not to look for miracles, but finding where there isn't one. When holy water was rare at best, it barely wet my fingertips. But now I have to hold my breath. It's like I'm swimming in a sea of it. Seems to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-downs. But I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything's holy now. Everything's holy now. Read a questioning child's face and say it's not a testament, That'd be very hard to say. To see another new morning come, say it's not a sacrament. I tell you that it can't be done. This morning outside I stood and saw a little red-winged bird shining like a burning bush and singing like a scripture verse. It made me want to bow my head. I remember when church let out. Oh, how things have changed since then, 'cause everything is holy now. It used to be a world half there, heaven's second-rate hand-me-downs. I walk it with a reverent air, 'cause everything's holy now. Everything is holy now. Sing it. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy. Everything is holy now. 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 Let's do it again. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything is holy now. Everything's holy now. Everything, everything is holy now.
There's